Hi everyone! Have you ever wondered what it takes to build one of the biggest college business hackathons? Or how business hackathons are different than technical focused ones? Well, on this podcast episode, I'm here today with the two incredible co-directors of HackATL 2020, which, attracting over 1,000 students, is the most prominent business hackathon in the Southeast. My name is Amanda, and I'm a sophomore at Emory University, as well as IQ Associate at EABM, the organization that hosts HackATL. And now I'll go ahead and let our incredible senior directors introduce themselves.
Yeah, nice to meet you all. My name's Michelle. I am one of the co-directors of HackATL alongside Andrew, and I'm a junior at Emory studying finance in the business school and quantitative sciences.
Yeah, and I'm Andrew. I'm a junior as well. I'm the other senior co-director of HackATL. I'm in the business school and I'm studying strategy and management consulting with a double major in vocal performance.
Awesome. And so just for anybody who's listening that's not familiar, do you guys mind giving a little short introduction of what HackATL is?
For sure. Yeah, so HackATL, if you haven't heard of it, it's the most prominent business hackathon in the Southeast. Over our, 8 years of being around, we've attracted over 1,000 students from top undergraduate programs all over. And this year, going virtual, we're really excited to just offer that to anyone, anywhere. And so basically how HackATL works is the participants are given 48 hours to build a business. So at the end of that 48 hours, you've hopefully created a prototype and you pitch it to judges, angel investors, venture capitalists. And this year, our theme is Adventure is Out There. And we just thought that was especially fitting just due to COVID-19 and everything that the pandemic has done to our current global climate. And so we just really want to inspire everyone in that in this time we can still develop unconventional ideas. And so that's where our prompt Explore the Unconventional comes from. But yeah, we're really excited to see all the great breakthroughs that come this year, whether it's an app enhancing public health safety or even a product advocating for social justice. The possibilities are endless, and that's what I think is so special about HackATL.
Awesome. Yeah, I think the prompt is really a great way to distinguish how HackATL might be pursuing more unconventional ideas and more innovative ideas. Do you think there's any other factors that might also separate HackATL from other popular hackathons?
Yeah, I think Andrew touched on this a little bit earlier, but we are, a business hackathon, which is really different from some of the other really prominent ones in the US because we have a really big focus on just the overall idea and the business model behind whatever product or service you're pitching. So we're much more focused on how, the company is going to create value for their end market or user rather than, super technical aspects like perfecting the code behind a website. I think also our prompt is a little bit more open-ended than some of the other hackathons out there. While we do have company awarded prizes from Echo AR and Google Cloud this year, participants still have the creative liberty to come up with any idea that fits our pretty broad prompt rather than, specifically creating an idea for a company.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed being a business hackathon, it's a lot more inclusive. I know there were participants across from a lot of different majors where I think typical hackathons tend to be very STEM oriented or comp-sci oriented. Do you think that it kind of allows people who don't have a technical background to kind of get involved in this entrepreneurial scene?
I definitely think so. And in one of our most recent marketing videos, the winners from last year, that's something they noted, that they just saw a really diverse group of students. And it was just spread out over so many different majors, humanities, the sciences, and business. And this year, we're trying to make that one of our main goals, to have inclusivity and diversity, in terms of geography, in terms of all of these different demographic and location related, categories.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's diversity in both entrepreneurship and also STEM in general is super important. So it's so cool to see how you guys are tackling that. Do you mind giving a little bit of a schedule for anyone who's listening who wants to apply?
Yeah. just a quick timeline. The application is currently open and it won't close until, exciting. It won't close until Wednesday, September 30th, right before midnight. And so since it is open now, we actually admit on a rolling basis. So you will apply via hackatl.org and we'll review your application, and then you'll receive an email from us about the next steps after that. And then the actual date of the event itself is October 2nd to the 4th. So it happens over the course of a Friday, Saturday, Sunday weekend. And so that Friday, the first day, it's kind of spent meeting other participants, you're forming teams, brainstorming your ideas. And then the second day, we usually like to have mentorship sessions where you get to just build upon your idea and kind of fine tune everything. And we also offer workshops that help with that. And then the third day is the final day, the pitch day, where you'll do a wonderful presentation in front of judges.
Ooh, yeah, definitely encourage everyone to go check it out. There will be a link attached to this podcast episode where you can kind of learn more and see what their application is. And now kind of pivoting more towards you guys. So when you guys decided to be HackATL directors, what was that like? Was there a certain moment where you guys, I want to be a director of HackATL, or how did you guys find that inspiration for it?
I think it was a very gradual process for me. I first actually found out about HackATL because I was a HackATL ambassador. So I was just working in a group to market and create hype around the event. And while I was doing that, I kind of fell in love with what the weekend stood for. I think entrepreneurship is so interesting, and it's so easy when you're studying in a business school to be drawn to traditional consulting or finance routes. And this really gave me an outlet to explore different interdisciplinary passions that I had. So I actually competed in HackATL my freshman year, and I got to combine my love for sustainability and environmental science with entrepreneurship and business strategy.
I think my story is a little different from Michelle in that I did not compete in HackATL my first year, but my second year I was heavily involved with EEVM, the organization that hosts HackATL, and I was largely in charge of a lot of logistical planning, and so I was involved with the programming division, the corporate division, and so tackling food sponsorship and corporate outreach. And just seeing how I am very detail oriented, I think that taught me a lot in how I can work in a team. And I think that also was something that Michelle and I took into account, especially in the planning process. She's a little stronger in the ideation phase, and then I tend to have a knack for carrying out and executing different ideas. And so we're just really taking away from that we want to play to each other's strengths, and then also use that in the just macro level of EEVM. Just using everyone to their skill level and their abilities and just encouraging that.
So then in terms of your experiences, having been so heavily involved in HackATL even before being co-director, what do you think you learned from those experiences being involved, and how are you applying those previous experiences now being a co-director and really leading the initiative to organize this?
Yeah, one of my biggest takeaways is how much of a collaborative and group effort planning HackATL really is. There's so many moving parts that, you have the focus is on the participants during the weekend of. And so it's just been really rewarding to be able to work with Andrew and the rest of our exec board to just always put ourselves in the mentality in the shoes of our participants and think, what would they benefit the most from this weekend, and how can we foster that?
Yeah, I think something I took away, everyone on the EEVM team kind of just has a different skill set to offer. I know for me personally, I'm very detail oriented, and I like to tackle logistics. So I was in the programming division and the corporate division, and I know the things I was able to do, knocking out food sponsorship and taking care of other things within that space that the previous co-directors were able to kind of tackle the bigger picture, the ideas that really have a large effect on the hackathon. And so I think That's also where Michelle and I pair nicely, because we're able to kind of divide tasks and kind of just play to our strengths in that area.
Gotcha. So kind of going off of what you just said about how you guys work together, could you kind of briefly walk us through what it was like, kind of both organizing HackATL? Was like, I know you guys mentioned the new goals and things you wanted to do differently. Was that like maybe like phase one, or was there just like a gradual process of how you guys decided to go about organizing this huge event?
Yeah, no, I think there are some different phases that kind of bleed together. So I'd say that the planning process for HackATL really started during the weekend of last HackATL. So Andrew and I were taking notes the entire time, just of things that went really well, things that we wanted to keep for this year, and then things we wanted to tweak slightly. And I think a week after we got the directorship position, we met with our predecessors, Talia and Vina, and we scheduled a meeting and really just hashed out our vision and prompt for this year. And that was just like the main overarching planning session. And then after that, we met with every single division in EEVM to try to hear what their goals were and their takeaways from the previous year, so that we could incorporate their vision into ours. And since then, it's just been like a fully oiled engine. I'm not sure. But yeah, we really have just tried to keep up the momentum from that. And, over the summer, we've had, weekly office hours. We've had weekly exec, leadership, director meetings, where we've just had so many points of contact with every division. And yeah, now we're just, working out the final details and getting the final sponsorships before the weekend up.
Awesome. Yeah, I know, like, being an IQ, I loved how you guys always like touched on each department, making sure everyone knew what was going on, making sure you had everyone's opinions. So that was always really awesome to be part of that. And I think like having seen how hard you guys worked the whole year, it's awesome to see everything kind of coming together. I know there's actually like a huge barrier, or not a barrier, but an obstacle when the whole COVID situation and pandemic came on, with like a lot of things turning virtual. And then I know there's a lot of last minute plans, both with our Emory institution, but just in general. How have you guys kind of handled that, and how did that kind of play a role in how today this year's hackathon is going to be like?
COVID did throw a wrench in a lot of our plans, but I think flexible and adaptable, then you can still create an amazing outcome no matter what. And so when we were given the news, of course, like phone calls happened. We met with like leadership very short after. And I think just the supportive community within EEVM was super just amazing to have. And we were waiting on Emory to provide info. We had each other to brainstorm and come up with new ideas. And so that's how we came up with the idea, and so many other like logistical things that you have to consider when going online. And so it's just great to have that supportive team that just makes sure that nothing falls through the cracks. Because I know like planning an in-person hackathon, that plans switch like drastically when we are now doing a virtual one. But I think just being able to rely on our great team really just helped us adjust to the current environment.
Aw, that's so sweet to hear that, how much like you guys and the whole team has worked together to kind of overcome these obstacles. I think that even though it's virtual, there's probably a lot of benefits involved as well. I would love to hear what you guys think about what kind of pros are in this situation and what participants can look forward to, even though it's a virtual setting.
For sure. I think now participants will have so much more exposure to different mentors, judges, and fellow hackers and participants. Before, we were constrained on the physical limitations of Goizueta, where we host all of our participants. But now, since we're all Zooming in using DevPost, we are opening it up to international students. We're having mentors and judges from the West Coast, where I think previously it would have been really hard to fly them logistically to the East Coast for an entire weekend. I think more than that also, is how, our theme this year is explore the unconventional, and these are unconventional times. But unfortunately, this might be the new normal. So the frustrations that some of our participants may be feeling could be catalysts for ideas and really unique solutions that could address what so many different populations are experiencing right now.
Wow, I love that. I think like I've read a quote that's like, in the hardest of times, like the best ideas for entrepreneurship come out. So that's definitely like a great opportunity for participants to really think about, especially considering our theme is exploring the unknown. And then I totally agree as well. I think that being virtual, it does take out a lot of the physical barriers to hackathons, especially in terms of college students, and if they need to, they don't really have the opportunity to come to a different area. Kind of like going back into organizing the hackathon, what do you think is one of the most challenging parts for you guys? I guess besides the fact that you had to transition to a virtual format.
I think there have been so many moving parts this year because prior to COVID-19, we also wanted to pilot, a new website that was being coded from scratch. We had a lot of, big ideas. And so we were just thinking about how to continue to execute them. And in order to do that, we really had to coordinate with every single division on our exec board, in addition to just hopping on calls with mentors and judges, and having weekly meetings. So it's really easy to have an experience burnout, not just with me and Andrew, but as an entire executive board, since it's a year-long endeavor. And so we just really wanted to keep up the momentum and get everyone, continually excited about all of our really, neat ideas.
Wow. As someone who is on the exec board, I will say that I did not experience any of that burnout, so no worries. Super excited whole year about HackATL, and so excited how it's finally closing in and we're getting on the last pieces together. And then on a more optimistic note, would love to hear about what is your favorite part about organizing HackATL?
Yeah, it's definitely hard to just pick one favorite part. But kind of going off of Michelle's point of how we do plan the event, like over the course of a year, and it's kind of just like a one-time thing. I think it's really special, like that we get to see that process start to finish, and then that weekend of, it's just you get to see all that hard work paid off. I think it's just a very rewarding experience. And then on top of that, working with everyone within EEVM has just been like such a delight. I know everyone is so talented, like beyond, like I don't even know, they're amazing. And it's just really cool to see how if Michelle and I like propose an idea, then someone will make it happen. Like someone will create that design, or someone will contact that individual. Like I think we just have a really special and unique team, and I'm just so excited to be a part of it. And I think like on the organizational part of it, like for participants, HackATL just fosters such an amazing environment for them to just create such innovative ideas and inspire positive change. And I think like being able to encourage that is just like something so unique.
Yeah, in terms of encouraging participants, is there anything in particular that you guys hope that participants will specifically get out of this year and this year's hackathon?
Yeah, especially like with our theme, explore the unconventional, we really just want to empower our participants to develop breakthroughs. Like we believe that they have the talent inside of them to create any and every idea. And I think that they just need to believe that themselves as well. And so we just want to give them that platform, which is HackATL, to be able to see those ideas all the way through. And I think just something so special with this year is that since it's not in person, we want to let them know that creative ideas still can happen. Like, when a lot of people did go into quarantine, that's when the creative side started coming out again. And so I think that's something that we want to emulate as well through HackATL.
Right. I think being creative is one of the best ways to really stand out and really allow them to explore maybe ideas or sides they want to have typically. Do you have any tips for participants who are either maybe looking to get more creative during this hackathon, or just in general of how they can really have the best experience possible?
Yeah, I think, for any prospective participant, the idea of creating a business in 48 hours is so daunting. I know that's what I really experienced. And I would just say, to anyone who is hesitant, this hackathon hackathon is for people of all different experience levels. And you don't have to come in with a set idea. I think just come into the weekend with an open mind, with, you know, ideas of things that you're passionate about, ideas that excite you, you know, frustrations or experiences that you've faced in your daily lives, and just be open to meeting other people, and just talking to them about what you care about. And I think that will be such a fruitful experience. It doesn't matter, you know, if you end up creating like the next Lyft or Uber at the end of the weekend, you're going to be able to meet so many, you know, passionate and cool individuals, and just come up with some really cool ideas that maybe down the line will serve as inspiration for you.
Right. I think it's also just so empowering to come in not really having so much experience or having an idea, but by the end of the weekend, these participants will basically have such like a thought out, basically company and business. So it's so cool just to have them go from end to end through that whole process. And totally, like, again, emphasize people don't have to have experience, and of any majors are encouraged to apply and join. Do you guys have any last words or any last questions you guys want to talk about, or anything you just want to add on to?
I just want to say, you know, if you have any interest in HackATL at all, please just follow all of our social media and our website, just to get information. It's non-committal, of course. On there, you're going to be able to see the different sponsors and mentors that we've secured, and also get access to our education packet with some, you know, important steps to the ideation and prototyping process. You know, even if you don't end up competing. And, you know, our hope is that you will come and that we'll be able to see your face and hear your ideas. But, you know, if not, there's always next year.
And on that note, just really wanting to encourage everyone to at least try and get involved in any way they can. I know it can seem daunting, as Michelle said, to commit the 48 hours, but especially with it being online, we just want to like really create that accessibility. And I think that there's definitely no regrets in doing HackATL. I think from everyone we've ever heard from, they've said it's been such a amazing experience for them, and one that they'll never forget. And so we just want to make sure everyone has that same experience.
Yeah, I think especially being remote, like you still get to be from the comfort of your home or wherever you are located, but still get such a new, vivid experience. So, well, thank you, Michelle and Andrew, for coming out today and talking to us. I learned so much about HackATL, and it's such a great experience, and totally encourage all the listeners to learn more, to apply ASAP. And if you have any questions, I'm sure Andrew and Michelle would be more than happy to talk with them. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Amanda.
It was a weekend event, and people had to fly in and you know, find a place to, like, you know, please redo that. I didn't want them to seem homeless.
Michelle, they stay at Goiswara. They sleep there.
I know, but I didn't want to allude to them sleeping on the ground.
We offer sleeping bags.
That is homeless. Sorry.